Okay, I looked back over what I'd done recently, and it was wrong. Lots of it was wrong. First off, this bit is wrong. It's not with one end on screen, it's with one end off screen. And technically it's at least one end off screen. And also, berate myself. No, I've changed the image now, it doesn't matter. Other mistakes were made, and actually I will just get rid of that. Actually, here's my stupid screen again. It is possible to be in this situation and have an overlap, 2 points off screen, no pixels visible. So this final situation I will also, in which I'll also have to draw nothing. So it means just doing the intersections with the edges of the screen for each line, checking all four sides. And it's obvious, really. One of the reasons I've been tying myself in knots is that I'm kind of committing myself to not calling any functions in here, which is probably really overkill and not necessary, not sensible, but I'm not doing that. I could, somewhere I do have intersection of a line code, and I could probably figure it out again anyway. But this isn't even like a full intersection of a line that's required. Because the sides of the screen are vertical and horizontal, I don't have to do much faffing around. And whether or not the start or end is on the screen, like this, when I'm doing that, I'm trying to save myself the bother of figuring out if there is one or two, if there are, is one or two points of intersection with the side of the screen. But I think I'm just going to make a bit of laborious logic which counts the intersections. And I think it should be, because I already am figuring out left, right, top and bottom, let's just say local num I equals 0. And it starts at 0 because it might be that there are no intersections, like that weird situation I just drew. And so I'll just check the line against the four sides and see where the point of intersection is and see if it lies between the top and bottom of, well, the ends of the sides and the ends of the line. So check left. So this is y at x 0. Is that correct? This is the position, position of the line at y, line, where the line crosses the y-axis, basically. And it is y equals mx plus c. A good old. So actually, need to figure out the gradient. And I have, is it y difference over x difference? I can't remember the simplest things. I could probably just draw that and remember, but is it y difference? It's difference x and difference y. I have no consistency. So it's just what? How do I figure this out again? Mx plus c. So does that really mean it's just like? Nah, it doesn't mean that, because cx is one of my c's. If I will just draw this, there's 0. Let's say this is 10 by 7. There's a line. That means that that would be about 2 comma 4. And this would be minus 4 comma 2. My sum is dx is cx minus px. This can be the start. This can be the end. Cx is the end and px is the start. So I'm saying minus 4 minus 2. And I am going to use my pen. It's just a lot easier. For dx equals dy equals cy, which is the end, 2 minus py, which is 4. No, it's not. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around. It's 4 minus 2. Am I right? dy cy minus py. No, it's not yet. It's 2 minus 4. Dearie me. Which is minus 6. And it is minus 2. Makes sense. Minus 2 divided by minus 6 equals 0.33. That's the gradient, or whatever it's called. Y equals mx plus c. I must be making some sort of error in my thinking here. It's been so long since I did this maths. Because I do want a y value, but I want the y at x is 0. And anything times 0 is 0. So I'm just saying y equals the constant at 0. Oh yeah, because the constant isn't. The constant is the value at 0. Good, yeah, gotta figure out that. God. So I do it the other way around, do I? Well, what I know, I suppose, is... Oh god, yes, I figured out the constant as well first. This is why it's been so, like, that's so embarrassing. But basically, if I say y minus c equals mx, or negative c equals mx minus y, c equals negative mx minus y, c equals negative 0.33 times, say, 2 minus 4. That is not going to give me the right answer, is it? At all. Because if I say... No. it's going to give me a negative answer, and that's, hang on a sec. No, it's going to give me a negative answer, and that is, no, yeah, it's the negative of that answer, so 0.33 times 2 equals that, minus 4 equals that, the negative of which is that, 3.33. I'll guess that's right. So I figure out the C, and then I know it. Okay. Ah, yeah, man, long time since no. Long time since no maths. Dearie me. Okay. So C. I pick one of my things, and I know it, and I'll just say, it kind of is, that is what C is, it's y at x0, so y at x0 is minus gradient times cx minus cy. Now, first check is if y at x0 equal is greater than 0.0 and y at x0 is less than, and it does have to be that, doesn't it? Object height, object output height. Now, excuse me, that tells me that it crosses within the actual side of the screen and not above or below it. But also I need to know whether or not it happens within the left and right of the line. And is it still okay? I mean, I don't know. This is why, because I'm not just calling individual functions, this is why I doubt about the logic. I will just build it. And left is less than 0.0 and right is greater than 0.0. I'm being vague about my thinking here, but because I'm saying this here, like here, I'm checking if left is less than 0.0. Now that is because I'm not having to nest this logic inside a function, I'm wondering if there's some larger way I can build the logic where, like in here, left must be less than 0.0. I'm doing all these things together to identify this one situation, and I just can't help but feel that there's some way I can divvy this up so that I'm taking advantage of knowing this, for example, after this point, or this, for example, like, anyway, being vague about it, I'll just write it as I think it should work, and left is greater than 0.0 and right. Y at x, so okay. If this has happened, then num intersections plus equals 1. I don't know if I do need to count that, do I? Yeah, no I will. No I do, yeah. Start x equals 0.0 and start y equals y at x0. I'm going to use that num intersections at the end, and if it's only 1 then I know where the end point is, and I set the end point to be gosh, then I figure out what I set the endpoint to be. So now, so let's say check right. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this way really. We'll soon see. Y at x width equals, now I use mx plus c, don't I? I use gradient times cx plus y at x0. Will I be right? I'll guess and find out. If y at x width is greater than 0.0 and y at x width is less than output height, and am I kind of doing this bit right? We'll see. I'll just carry on and see. It is less than output width, and right is greater than output width. Intersections plus equals 1. Now, this is where I say something different. Nah, like this, I probably should be using a little array here, shouldn't I? This makes more sense. And I plop it in at num intersections. I do find that kind of annoying. I find it almost as annoying as my mouse wheel, but not quite. Global. What's a good name for this? I hate this sort of thing because I want something tiny, which isn't going to be somewhere else in my code, which describes this, which is the output line in, I think I'll just call it OL. Output line float equals new float of 2 parts. Problem? No. Now, no, I'll just remember 0 and 1, start and end. Now I'm going to have to fix all this for now. Output line Z. Okay. No, I'm wrong. Oh man. Okay, well, it should be 4. Okay, yeah. I start to get annoyed because I'm not remembering 0 and 1, I'm remembering 0 equals 0 equals 0.0. And now, yeah, now I may as well make this equal what? 0. And this equals 0. No, and none of those things equal 0. This equals 3, and 2, and 1, and that last one, this first one actually does. Anyway. Oh, me. SY. Output line SY equals PY. Output line NY equals OH minus 1.0. sorry, tedious, but output width minus 1.0 rem output line ex equals cx. Now, this point, it can just be output line sx equals 0.0. Can it? I think it can. Output line sy equals y at x0. And here, I leave that till after for starters. And actually here I'll leave it till after just for consistency as well. If for some reason I come back and make this totally consistent. Now, there would be no reason to do that, I can imagine, but oops. "22 minutes just of trying to get to grips with all my errors." But so, and I could actually just say numi plus 2, or make this like target index or something, because here I can just say output line numi. This is the x value of whichever. It is the output width, the output line numi plus 1. This is a y value of whatever, is y at x0. No, width numi plus equals 2. Don't tell me that. So now, if I've found both ends, I can skip the next bit. Is it worth checking? Is it worth saying at this point if numi equals 0 to 4, then bail? Or just skip the next bit? I think I will. If numi is less than 4, do something. Ends to be found. Ends need to be found. Okay, check top. X at y0 equals, and I will just do it to manually look. I've got no space, but I do have space over here. Y equals mx plus c. This is apparently also true. This is true, so divide throughout by. I've got to get my pencil somewhere. My tablet somewhere easier. Look at that. Great. Okay. Y minus c divided by m equals x. Okay. I guess it is okay. So I want to know an x, so my y is 0, So it's negative c over m. And I can just use minus cx, I think, again, over gradient. If x at y0 is greater than 0.0 and x at y0 is less than output width and top is less than 0.0 and bottom is greater than 0.0. I just, for some reason I've got a noodle about that logic. I'm sure it's okay. We'll bloody see. This is going to be hard. I'm going to have to build a load of stuff before I can test this, I think. In fact, I wonder if there's an easier way for me to test it. So there's either 0, well, there's either 0 or 1 intersections so far, but my num_i thing is either at 0 or 2. I may have intersected with the left, but now I've intersected with the top in this circumstance, so basically it's num_i, or I may have intersected with the right and the top. Num_i, this equals, this is the x, so it's x at 0, at y0, OL, num_i plus 1, and this is a y, and that is 0. And num_i plus equals 2. Now, like, again at this point, should I check if num is less than 4? That's, like, I'm not going to. I suppose I could run a whole bunch of tests. So, and I could save num_i. I could save myself some variables here probably. X at y height equals, so what was that sum again? Yeah, y minus c. So it is OH minus c. That, it's, yeah, c. No, this should be cy, shouldn't it? No, it shouldn't. It should be. I'm just seeing c and going off cx, that'll be fine. It should be y at x0. And this should also be y at x0. Silly me. More foolish errors. I think, yeah. Y minus c, object, output height minus y at x0. Except this probably needs to be like that. These are okay, I think. Got a problem? No. If x at y height is greater than 0.0 and x at y height is less than output width and top is less than output height and bottom is greater than output height, OL I equals x at y height, and the y num_i equals output height num_i plus 2. Now, if I've got to the end of that and num_i is less than 4, then I have one end on the screen, right? The little butt pain is that I'm kind of coming back to that bit I deleted. Did I delete it? Yes, I did. That bit I deleted where I say what do I say? What I say, yeah, is an end on screen. And I was about to say, is the start of this line on screen? And if not, put the end of the line on the screen. But that's not what I can do. Or I can't, no, I can do that. It's just that that's an annoying thing to do. I wish I knew. Like, why don't I just know? Of course I don't just know. I'm committing to this, so I'm getting rid of these. Gee-dum. Okay. Wow. And this is exploding. This is what I get for committing also to no functions. This is the point where I have to decide which end is on screen. Am I just going to have to churn all this again and say, because there's going to be a lot of these situations. It's just, I shouldn't be so, like, I don't know what the word is, anxious about it, because really it's, well, it's doing a few. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 decisions for every line. Well, you know, just to get to this point, there's still another. And some of these are not just one decision, some of these are that. Oh, I don't like it at all. I really don't, and I feel like there must be a more... I feel like there must be a more efficient way, but I suppose this is trig, or bloody sums. So, is there no way of knowing, given everything I've gathered up so far, which is basically left, right, top, bottom, and also them both being, if the num I equals 0, it could also still be that situation. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. That is is where num I is for, that's what it's for, that's what it's for, so on and so forth. This and this I get to here. So I kind of have to check both. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go through the logic. If Cx is greater than 0.0 and Cx is less than output width and Cy is greater than 0.0 and no, not greater than or equal to, and Cy is less than output height, else, and the end of this seg is on screen. Is off screen. If P x is greater than or equal to 0.0 and Px is less than or equal to object width and Px is greater than or equal to not less than or equal to less than greater than or equal to 0.0 and Px is less than object height, And this final situation, I don't think I need the else, do I? I think if I've got here and I found that the end... That is a daft thing. I've just written loads of gibberish here. If I get to that end, that point, and find that it is intersecting with the... You know, at this point I've found that the line, its rectangle intersects with the screen. None of its sides apparently intersect with the screen. And actually, if I could say here, if num I equals 0, bail, or if num I is greater than 0 but less than 2. Because I don't really... Like if num I, if there are no intersections, then I know there's no line. So I wonder if this is starting to look really grim. Am I... If num I equals is greater than 0, then do some... when I say actually draw the line, I don't do it out there, I do it in here somewhere. All the way up here. Wow. I say this. Yeah. If this is not answered correctly, the line is never drawn. But if this is answered correctly, the line is drawn. Am I really going to set a flag and just go through all this logic and come out the other end and say, is there a line? If so, the output contains the line. All of these things. Oops. This is output line star text. Output line. Now, I think that I'm going to have a break here. Yeah, 38 minutes. This has felt embarrassingly trudgy. It's been a long time since I've thought about this kind of thing. But well, I suppose I'm kind of getting there, but honestly I'm not that confident. And I still have in the back of my mind this niggle about the drawing the last pixel in the line. And again, if I was calling functions, I would just be calling the draw the line function now. But I'm not calling functions. And as ugly as this looks, I just have to bear in mind to myself, yeah, this is replacing what is going on there. Oh yeah, this is of course, I have made an error in my ifs. This is going to be horrible, horrible to go through. This is really mean. For and next else. Oh boy, that is really... Does that even connect up with a for up here? Yeah, okay, maybe it's just that I didn't close the last one. I would hope, but no, I had thought that there's the problem. Okay. Goodness. That's not going to be the way it works anyway. Because of stuff like the fact that right here I've instantly decided it is going to end up being a flag. and all of them are going to be global to something else, actually. Now that this is coming together and I see the amount of stuff I want to just store, and all of this is going to be included in it when I've decided on what all of this will finally be, that I just want to store as globals because it's all being used bang in this single space, but tens and tens of thousands of times. And yeah, when I think about how ugly it looks, I just have to remember that, or comfort myself, that this is replacing all of the OpenGL code, and obviously I'm not drawing a beautiful OpenGL line. I'm drawing a simple set of, sort of the simplest possible line, or will be. But as much as it seems to be, it's still probably an unimaginable fraction of what's been happening before. Anyway, for now,